you check the children? Show a little mad sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes. That is what
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Happy 22! I'm Jaime Fuego.
That's right, and we are here to do another end of the year list. We are going to be doing our top 6 worst horror movies of 2021. Fuego, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I guess I can go first.
Right.
And I mean, this is one that we were very blessed and happy to have an early access to through Netflix. You know, something that we finally solidified this past year. But it was called There's Someone Inside Your House. And the trailer looked okay, but it very much felt to me like something that was going to be as generic as any slasher that is out there. And lo and behold, aside from the cool little gimmick, I guess, of the fact that there was 3D printing going on to put on the face of the person that said killer was going after, it just veered into such predictability, especially in the third act, when you were trying to figure out who the killer was and it was becoming very apparent and very obvious. Kills were nothing too incredibly amazing or anything, and the one plus that I will definitely give the film is the aspect of representation that we had within it, but it just didn't do enough with it from a storytelling standpoint for me. So this is definitely, Netflix put out a lot of horror this year, man, and this was definitely one that I felt was just, I don't know, as uninspired as anything that I have seen that had a relatively decent budget behind it. So
Fair enough, fair enough. You know, I think that means
I think you liked it a little more than me, if I remember correctly.
No, I really didn't. I liked it a little more, but not much. I remember not liking this when we talked about it. So this is one of the ones we saw at an early screening of. Oh no, this was one of our Netflix, right? This was our first Netflix screener.
Yep. It was here from the
Yeah, it
Badass
just
TV. That
we
that
were
got
hoping
from.
it was going to be better based on the trailer that we saw. If I
First
recall
kill
correctly.
with the football player wasn't bad, you know, but everything from there.
Everything else, just the 3D
interplay
printing of
amongst
the.
the
It could have been cool. It was trying to be Happy Death Day, I think, and it just really kind of was failing.
with
and
an R rating, more
Yeah.
profanity, gore, drug use.
I remember the
stuff like
gore
that.
being cool, but otherwise it was a trash movie. I had frankly forgot about it until you reminded me that it was going to be on your list. I was like, oh, that's right.
I did not like this movie, unfortunately.
So I'm going to follow up with my number 6, which is another one that we saw early. This one we saw at a festival, the Phoenix Film Festival to be more specific. It's now available. I'm not sure where it's available. You might know, but I'm talking about We Need to Do Something. This is a movie.
I want to say it's on Shudder.
I think it might be Shudder as well, but nonetheless, it's available now.
This was in contention for me, unfortunately.
This is about a family that is forced into their bathroom, their master bathroom, as a result of something weird going on outside that we never, ever, ever, ever see in the entire movie.
The epitome of low-budget filmmaking.
Low-budget filmmaking. It's this family stuck in a bathroom because something has happened outside and a tree has fallen inside their house in order to block them from escaping from the bathroom. So we have an hour-and-a-half movie where it's this family, a father, son, daughter, and father, son, daughter, mother, core 4 group, and
super angsty daughter.
It's super angsty daughter, and they just go at each other for the entire time, and they try and figure out if they can leave or not, and there are some, very fatal circumstances at times, and it has an ending that tries to pay off, but it doesn't. It once again, like, you never get the payoff that you're hoping for. Never. And it makes the whole thing an exercise in futility in my mind, and I didn't realize how hyped up and amped up I am to talk about these worst movies, but this movie was a big waste of time, dude. Like, I hated this when we watched it at the Phoenix Film Festival.
Yeah, and IHSFFs, and shout out to International
Sci-Fi
Film
shout
Festival.
out to them.
Yeah, dude.
Shout out to them for allowing us access. Obviously, they didn't make this movie.
Yeah, but I mean for the allowed opportunity. I didn't dislike this one quite as much as you did. I found a few moments to be pretty engaging, most notably where you hear the voice and the arm and like the reaching out and everything. Yeah. That shit was creepy. That made me jump, but otherwise, it's
the one time in the whole
movie. You're right. Well, and also what happens with a particular character and another one, with a character who doesn't survive, and then something snake related, and then with another character going nuts. Like, that stuff hit me in the feels. So I felt like this was a movie that was relatively lacking, and it showed its minimal budget. And I know you don't like bunker movies, so
I hate bunker movies.
and this is most def 100%.
Although I did like 10
friggin' bunker
Cloverfield Lane. That was the last bunker movie that I kind of enjoyed, was 10 Cloverfield Lane.
John-
Because you
John
got the big
Goodman's-
monster
John
ending.
Goodman's so
You know,
good.
there was monsters at the end of the movie, so there was a
And so
payoff.
yeah, and so maybe if we had them,
If
well,
we
all had
saw
that-
whatever it
something,
was that attacks someone at the end of the movie, fine, okay, give me that. Like, that's the thing.
or even
that's
the
the
revelation,
conceit.
even if it was just one shot, dude, of like the landscape, of the
Right,
chaos,
something
and
after the
everything.
fact.
But they
Because yeah,
didn't-
you
they didn't
literally
have the
get
money
you
for
get
it.
one exterior shot of the town before you go to the bathroom, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So yeah. Anyway, I'm too hot and bothered over
and
this
the
one.
father sucks and is such a piece of
Oh,
shit in
it's
this
just the
movie.
worst.
But I mean, deliberately, the way he's written, you're supposed to hate him.
You're frustrated the
Everything,
entire
so-
time, and then you're frustrated because
Yeah.
you don't get what you actually want to get by the end of the movie.
And that's really the biggest thing, is that, like, with this film, the character that I like the most is the one who doesn't survive, and it's the only one you can really, like, care, and
The one who doesn't survive? Are we spoiling? What's going on?
that's why I'm, like, veering around. Well, damn it.
Careful.
I mean,
Careful.
yes, I'm trying to be careful. But, okay, so am I going with mine?
Yes,
My,
you're
my
number
next one,
5.
my number 5 is a film called Hypnotic, and I'm trying not to mess up with our audio
Our
recording
audio
over
recording.
there. But
Our invisible
man,
audio.
I'm such a big fan of Kate Siegel, and she has a great relationship with Netflix that I would imagine has been fostered by her husband in Mike
Kate
Flanagan.
Siegel, who's that?
That is Mike Flanagan's wife, who was in Hush,
Gotcha.
who was also
Gotcha.
in Midnight Mass.
Because
who
I'm
is-
of the age where I hear Kate Siegel and I'm like, do you mean Katie Seagal from Married with Children?
Nope, and that's why she deliberately pronounces, I would imagine,
Okay.
the way that she does. But yeah, it's called Hypnotic, and it was, once again, I mean, Netflix put out a lot of horror thrillers this past year, and this was another one that was so generic and so predictable. Her character, she gets involved kind of with this psychiatrist who is putting her under hypnosis, and you think one thing is happening, because I'm not trying to spoil, but it's very evident that stuff is not particularly good with this dynamic, and there's blackouts and loss of memory and whatever. It was decently shot, and Kate is great, but it was really the fact that the script was so predictably just trite and stupid, really, and did nothing as far as bringing freshness to the table that I was hoping for, And I'll watch Kate in just about anything, man. She's fantastic, great actress, who's really coming into her own. But yeah, this one, I'm guessing you didn't see it?
Nope.
Yep, it's much more on the thriller, psychological side of things than it is on the horror side of things. But I had hopes for this, man, and it was so disappointing that in the last 20 minutes, as I found out what was happening, I cranked it up to the 1.25.
Oh,
She gave me
let's
so
beat
much
through the
shit
ending.
about.
Fair
I'm
enough.
like, I know everything that's going down right here. I just want to have this movie be done, because I don't stop films in like mid-process. I always, gut it out. But Netflix gives you that nice opportunity to speed up the process. If need be.
So that's going to lead me to my number 5, which is going to be Spiral from the Book of Saw.
In contention
This-
for my list.
This was just bad. They tried to reboot the Saw franchise outside of the John Kramer sort of, not outside of it, but not outside of it at the same time. Like, they wanted to spread their wings, but they still had to tie it to the Kramer of it all after a fashion. And
Because we're trying not to spoil.
right,
things,
it was
right?
super predictable. That was one of my big issues with it.
Especially
It
in
wasn't
third act.
nearly as well executed as the rest of the Saw movies. I did not like the new killer or the new voice that they had or the new puppet that they tried to introduce. Like
Pig
they-
aspect or
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it
they
is,
tried
or-
to. Well, there was always a pig aspect in the other one, but it was a pig mask. It wasn't a pig puppet, right? So like they just really effed up this reboot. And Chris Rock, like I didn't watch his season of Fargo, and apparently he can really pull off dramatic acting, but he did not pull it off here for me. Samuel L. Jackson felt like a complete afterthought.
He's
once
barely
I
in the
watched the movie. Like,
so.
and again, I figured out the killer like in the first 10 minutes of the movie. I'm like, it
Lots of
better
people
not be
did.
this person. It better not be this person, because I'm going to be pissed. And it was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Spiral from the Book of Saw was a huge disappointment for me this year.
Yeah, and I will second that emotion, unfortunately. And probably more so than anything because of the fact that I watched leading up to this movie, remember how I asked
you? Oh yeah,
you?
you watched them all because you had never seen them before.
I had watched the first two,
Right.
and I never watched anything beyond that. So leading up to this movie in the week beforehand,
The week.
I watched every single one, including the Jigsaw was the like
8.
kind of 8. Yeah, dude, I will contend this is the worst Saw movie that has been made.
Oh yeah.
Honestly,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Easily.
without a doubt, and it's not even Chris Rock's fault because he's funny at times, but.
Well, but he wrote the treatment for it. I
He
think.
did, yeah. So he wrote a treatment, and then it was scripted by some guys who were a little bit more, you know, pivotal, seasoned, pivotal,
or not.
pivotal within the franchise. Well,
Depends on your
I mean,
opinion.
the kills were not particularly interesting. I didn't really have any characters that I identified with quite as much as I was hoping to. I still contend 6 is supremely underrated, man, with dealing with the medical industry and lack of insurance and stuff like that. Jason Smith said the same thing.
Yeah.
He thinks 6 is one of the best. It's not a fantastic franchise, but since I've seen recent reports that they are doing another Saw movie and they are gonna bring
It's back to the John Kramer
Tobin
stuff,
Bell
yeah.
back, so this was obviously a failed experiment. I would
Yeah.
say. So,
Clearly.
Yeah.
So you're number 4, sir.
My number 4. Sorry, I keep jumping back into the phone. Okay, so this is one that it's not terrible, but man, was it not what I was hoping and expecting it to be. It's a Shudder exclusive, and I'm trying to remember if it was a Korean film or a Chinese film or from somewhere else in the Far East, but it's called Dead and Beautiful.
Okay.
And this film, it teases itself as being a vampire film. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but it's really the utter unlikability of any of these rich, entitled characters in this film that just destroyed any aspect. And I like Cruel Intentions, which this was really taking a lot of cues from,
Okay.
but
I love that movie.
yeah, I do too, man. But the love story, or the love triangle, which we eventually get to, doesn't particularly work. I was just wanting more of a grisly, crazy sort of thing, as opposed to you have these rich, very well-off children. Well, I guess they're like early 20, whatever, like cuties. And they go off on this like peyote sort of excursion out in the middle of nowhere. And when they awaken, they are trying to figure out if something has been changed within them. If they're vampires, they've got little serrated teeth. They are feeling weakness a little bit from the sun. And yet it just really maintains itself as a drama, a little bit of horror elements, but there's very little death. There's pretty much no carnage. And yet I like stuff along the lines of Only Lovers Left Alive, where it's a vampire sort of approach where it doesn't have to be all about just grisly gore. This one really didn't do it for me, and that's another thing that I just want to double down on if I haven't said it yet, because I can't remember if I did or not, but I tried to go with more high-profile releases for these bad, my least favorite sort of things.
Yours are high
Because-
profile? You missed 3 humongously high profile ones that I'm going to hit on my list.
Well, I was trying to divvy out.
No,
you know?
you're right.
I mean,
You're right.
Yeah,
Fuego and
so-
I. So we decided last year when we put together these lists. Sorry, not to cut you off,
No, you're
but
fine.
I just
you're
want
fine.
to explain
I
to
will
everyone
actually-
that some of our choices are the same,
Yeah.
and so we always have alternates. So now we're talking ahead of time, and we're just making them different choices. And that way we get to discuss all of the, disappointing ones or all of the good ones that
Yeah.
we want to discuss.
Yeah, and I think it allows all of you to be a little bit more informed, especially if you're inclined. But, I mean, there were so many just garbage VOD,
Lots of them.
small scale, like the deep ones, for God's sake.
Oh, and I'm going to get to one on my list, too.
Yeah. So it is a thing, but but I mean, since this one was picked up by Shudder, owned by AMC, owned by, I believe, Viacom, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, if it's showing up on Shudder at this particular point, it is considered a higher profile release. So
Yeah.
Dead and Beautiful, didn't like it, very disappointed. Boy, the lead Asian lady she is a super, super babe. But anyway. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, I feel like I should just go ahead and skip to the one I was just alluding to then, because I could interchange this with my number 4. So I'm going to move along to Benny Loves You. Benny Loves You.
I did not like this movie. Jason Smith, how did you like this movie?
Dude, I don't know how some people... I think Sarah Stubbs likes it too. I think the Geeks Who Eat liked it as well. I was excited about this. So Benny Loves You is about a little stuffy, right? Like a little stuffed... bunny, maybe? I don't know.
Cute little reddish
something or other.
Yeah, I don't know.
And he's raised with this boy who has, not the best home life. I think his parents are fighting and shit like that. And he bonds with this little Benny toy. He eventually gets rid of the Benny toy, and then he finds the Benny toy again as an adult, and the Benny toy comes alive and starts killing off all of this guy's quote unquote problems, right? And it's meant to be a comedy, a horror comedy, and obviously it's about a little stuffed toy that's killing people. So it's how do you do that digitally, or do you try and do practical? What do you do? And to me, it just ended up coming off completely silly. The acting of the main guy was rough. I could not get into it. And then the fact that Benny would just flop around on screen when he's supposed to be running or walking, and it's just like bloop, 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 and his legs are just flop, flop, flop. You can tell he's just literally being held by someone in a green fucking glove while it's moving around, and it's like, no, like, make Benny move. Like I was hoping it would be like Chucky, you know, where Benny's moving around, and it's like, no, flop, 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 flop. Benny's moving, and I'm like, no, I don't know. I'm not buying into it. I don't like it. I have fire for this movie. I did not. So many people seem to enjoy it. I didn't like it. It was dumb. It to me failed where Slacks succeeded. Slacks is not as far as absurdity, horror, funniness. I'm not going to put Slacks on my top of list, but to me,
I like your mention
Slacks
of it because
and Benny Loves You are in the same. Like if you're at a swim meet, they're in the same heat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're swimming together.
Who did swim team and dive team.
You know what I mean? You get it.
Remember.
So Slacks way succeeded in the silly comedy horror realm, where Benny Loves You to me completely failed.
It's a good honorable mention because, you know, Slacks was more so with its skewering of corporate absurdity and everything. I appreciated
even the
message
silliness of the pants moving by themselves funnier than Benny
dancing
did.
around to
exactly
the
Bollywood thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Benny Loves You. I didn't hate it, but yeah, it
loves you.
It just didn't do it. Yeah, it just didn't do it for me, man. And
Evil
I
Elmo?
was very much so, especially with the color. I mean, if we're gonna go with that, you know, the taking out of the boss.
The people that are up to date on Elmo lore. This
This
is basically what would happen if Elmo finally snapped on Rocco. That's what Benny Loves You is.
Oh, were they a thing?
Elmo hates this little thing called Rocco, which his friend always brings on, which is literally a pet rock that she tries to act like he's alive.
Is this on the new HBO?
No, it's something that's been going for years on Sesame Street. Those in the know. Otherwise, guys, don't worry about it.
If you don't know, now you know.
Don't worry about it. But if you look up Elmo and Rocco on YouTube, you'll find some really funny shit. That's all I know.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed the dynamic of him trying to find love in Benny Loves You, and also the asshole, you know, boss getting his comeuppance or whatever. But yeah, it wasn't a good movie. I mean, it wasn't of my most reviled or anything. But the fact that I have seen this showing up on best of year lists,
I had to bring it down a notch.
blows my goddamn mind.
Had to bring it down a notch.
Okay, so we are at number
3. Number 3.
A House on the Bayou. So I had a rant about this movie at the
on the review roundup.
Yeah, on the review roundup. So this is exclusively available on Epix. I think maybe it is veered over to like regular VOD, but this was just something that, especially with the cast and the setting and everything, you know, being down in the South, I was very, very excited for. And unfortunately, it just veered into trite trope after just predictable bit of craziness. And so yeah, when this family is staying at this place, you know, and trying to kind of mend some fences, so to speak, we have somebody, this dumb, like, kind of white dude who shows up along with his said father, and it's okay. The twist is what irritates me so much about this movie. And so that's why I'm trying my damnedest not to, you know, give any sort of allusion to it. But yeah, it's incredibly predictable. And when there are often times where you think something is going to happen, and to have the proper fulfillment within filmmaking, you want to see it happen. You're just like, ugh, yeah, whether it's multiple Spider-Man or whatever the hell it may be, you know. But there's other times, well, Garfield
spoilers.
But there's other times where you're just like, really, are they totally gonna go here with this? And that is what they did with the House in the Bayou. I mean, they found some great locations and a beautiful house to actually shoot this at. But then our two main white characters are just It's by the books. I mean, I didn't watch Karen this past year. I didn't watch any of these
Oh
others.
God,
that
I'm sure that would have made my list if I watched it, but no, no,
but I
thank you.
didn't. And so, yeah, we're dealing with a nasty inherent aspect of those sort of contentions, but then it does bring it to a higher level of more, dare I say, supernatural, and without getting too much into it. But this film was just. It was a slog. It was all over the place. It felt like there was just misdirection. It felt like there was too many cooks, in the proverbial kitchen, so to speak. Although I don't know, how many people potentially worked on the screenplay. But anyway, A House on the Bayou. I thought about revisiting it so I could really just hit into it properly, but no, I didn't want to waste another.
Didn't want to waste my time.
Didn't want to waste another 90, 100 minutes, whatever the heck it is. So this is one that I was anticipating, and that's probably the burden of expectation, as I all too often say. And this one, it pissed me off. But there are others that piss me off more, so we will get to that. If you guys like Rage.
So my number 3 is going to be... So the rest of mine are all big budget releases. So my number 3 is going to be one that may piss a lot of you off. It may not. You may disagree. You may agree. Halloween Kills is my number 3 worst horror movie of 2021.
It was in contention for
I thought this was really bad. I thought Evil Dies Tonight was trash. I thought the whole thing was structured awfully. The whole hospital of it all, the entire 40-minute hospital segment, where it's not even Michael Myers involved, and it's just the fucking town crowd being dumb, and then the ending is dumb, and then there's just a couple of cool kills, but everything else is dumb. I really did not like Halloween Kills. I actually kind of liked Halloween 2018. I had high hopes for Kills.
It wasn't bad.
But man, that whole 45-minute subplot at the hospital with the other mental patient was stupid. And then how rushed the ending felt was stupid, and the fact that they made so many choices. So the town gets together at the bar every single year, and people remember and worry about Michael Myers, even though he only killed like 3 people 40 plus years ago.
Yeah.
This whole setup is folly. It's so stupid, and I absolutely hated what they did with Halloween Kills. Fuck this movie. That doesn't mean I'm not excited for Halloween Ends. I want to see how they end it, but fuck, they got a lot of course correction to do after this complete and utter bomb shit piece.
I don't know how I follow that up, but I really did not like this movie either. It was in contention, as I briefly tried to drop in for my worst of the year. It was just really the fact that, like, even Anthony Michael Hall, I felt was so overacting.
No, you don't understand, Fuego. Evil Dies Tonight.
I know.
No,
but
Evil
no,
Dies
Evil
Tonight.
Dies- okay.
No, Fuego. Evil Dies Tonight.
Watch the pitch meeting for
For
Halloween
real.
Kills,
Yeah.
and everything horrible about this movie
Oh,
will be
God.
laid before your feet. And I walked out of it and I was just like, God, I did not like that movie at all. But upon watching the dissection from those who really didn't like this movie, yeah, I know there's an extended cut that's out right now.
Who gives a shit? It's like
alternate
4 minutes
ending,
longer.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's about the way that I've just never been a big Halloween fanboy as it is.
Me neither.
So
Michael Myers has always been one of my least favorite.
Yeah.
But 2018 gave me hope. I was like, 2018 is not bad. Like, I get you're ignoring everything but one, but at least 2018 is not bad. I preferred the characterization of Laurie Strode in H2O to this one for sure, but still it wasn't bad. This was just bad. It was bad characterization. It was bad execution. It was just bad.
yeah, the mob mentality whole thing, it just didn't work for me. And also the fact that they still enjoy cherry picking Easter eggs from stuff that is not canon anymore. Like Season of the Witch and whatever else. So yeah, there we are, guys.
Yeah. So I guess that puts you at number 2, right?
It does put me at number 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna get some shit for this one.
Let's do it.
Boy, am I. Titania?
Titania.
I don't know. So
I did not see this one. This is all you.
I thought Raw was badass. I thought that movie
Never
was
saw that one.
very impressive. Very talented French first-time director, a woman as well, about a girl who was going to like a veterinary school of sorts, and she's a vegetarian, maybe even borderline vegan, I can't remember, but she is kind of forced into eating some flesh through a hazing ritual and then turns into a cannibal. So I was like, okay, that film was awesome. Let's see what this director can do next. And talk about art house entitled insanity. And I know that a lot of people are putting this on their lists of best of the year, actually, because of how bonkers and strange it is. But the one thing that everybody is at least mentioning, so spoilers to a brief degree that you see at the beginning of the movie, this chick fucks a car. She fucks a car. And she is impregnated with like a car oil baby of craziness. And there's also some murder that's involved, and so she's on the run after said impregnation. The sheer just lunacy of this
You're selling
movie.
it. Can I say you're selling it? You're making me really never want to watch this movie.
So, but
Oof.
so she goes on the run, and she's like, cutting her hair and like strapping up her boobs, and then she just, and this is still the first like 20-something minutes of the film, she basically acts like she is a long-lost child, like a missing child from like over a decade, and she reconnects with said father and then is living with said father who's a firefighter. And this movie is nuts, man. It is so insane in everything that it does, and I hated every minute of it. Like Catherine wanted to walk out of it, and I was like, "Nope, we paid good money at the AMC for this.
We are sticking through to see little baby Chromium."
I saw other people in the theater about halfway through. They walked out. They were just like, "This movie is retardulous." Like,
let me guess, Monty loved it.
Monty loved it.
Of course,
in his tops of the year. It is so.
Of course,
it's very sickeningly sexual too, man, and it. I don't know, and just
I don't think I've ever agreed on a film with Monty.
I'm suddenly no, I've agreed on a lot with Monty, but shout out, man, we love you.
We love Monty. He's our International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival connection. He runs that particular festival, and definitely shout out to him. It's just we have completely different tastes on movies,
and this is where art is subjective, everybody, because Titan is on a lot of best of the year lists. It was just too strange for me, and I felt like despite being beautifully shot and some of the editing and the performance from our female lead who goes incognito acting like she's not a woman, she's great, but everything else about this
totally
is
missed
just
that part of the movie. I had never heard you talk about that part. Okay.
Oh yeah, she's acting like she's a boy that's grown up and is this lost child.
Wait,
and
so did the car peg her? I don't understand. Never mind.
She's just writhing around in the back of the car. This is art house indulgence to the highest degree, and if you're into it, I'm glad you enjoyed it, because I could not stand this fucking movie. Anyway.
Fair enough. That was your number 2. Okay.
Yes.
My number 2 is going to be one that I think you'll be able to chime in on.
Maybe.
This is the brand new M. Night Shyamalan movie, and don't you dare call him what you always call him.
Me and Susie.
You hack.
Hack? No. Me and Susie both call him Sham Tamer.
The Sham Hammer, I know, yeah. Or Shamalama Ding Dong, as some people say. Old was something that I was actually quite excited about based on the trailers. I was like, ooh, interesting idea. And then we went and saw it, and it was ham-fisted. It was poorly scripted. It was so egregiously shot cinematographically.
Oh.
It is I wouldn't call it an abomination of film, but it is up there with his worst movies. Like, it is The Happening level silly, stupid. It is Avatar: The Last Airbender, dumb and ridiculous.
Never saw that one, so I can't compare.
It is so bad. The acting is rough. The direction is fucking terrible. There's some shots where there's literally nothing in focus. You have one character with a third of their face on screen, and you have two characters over here off screen or blurred out, and we're staring at the fucking rocks behind them or something. It was so bad. It was so stupid. The dialogue was so silly. The progression of events was so awful. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the way I phrased it was an exercise in futility. It was
Popular
an
phrase.
hour and a half long fuck, we are stuck situation, and just the worst shit is happening all around us. There's no moments of reprieve or levity. There's no like there's no fulfillment at the end. Like something happens, but it feels almost unearned because it's so superfluous. Swimming through coral, fuck you. Like there's not enough there. And M. Night not only ignored the criticism of like, dude, probably don't put yourself in your own movies anymore. He not only ignored that, he fucking quadrupled down on it and gave himself a fucking speaking role that was pivotal in the movie. Fuck Old. It was awful. I'm sorry, M. Night. You had started to course correct with Split and Glass, a little bit of The Visit, but now you've just backslid back into the bullshit. Fuego.
I didn't mind Old.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, it's definitely. I had major gripes about aspects of it, but oh goodness, I could.
You got the hiccupies?
Jesus.
You got the hiccupies?
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's because God knows you're lying.
I mean, the Wolf Kid from Hereditary, Thomasin McKenzie, being in this as well. I don't know. I didn't despise it. It was definitely relatively illogical in a lot of stuff. The random rapper hanging around. I was just
mid-sized sedan.
Yeah,
you mean?
Was that
Jesus
all from the graphic
Christ.
novel? I don't friggin' know, but yeah.
If they named him mid-sized sedan in the graphic novel, then fuck M. Night for not changing it for the movie.
Yeah, I probably should have, but no, I thought it was decently shot. It had some relatively shocking moments, and this is a very polarizing film because it's on some best of the years.
What?
Yeah.
Whose? So I can unfollow them.
Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah, I don't follow them.
I think Variety,
Yeah,
and
I
I
don't
think
follow them.
Esquire.
I don't follow them.
I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're number one then, Fuego.
My number one. Well, let's see if I can not hiccup like a maniac trying to actually talk about this stupid piece of shit. This game's called Murder, and
That's the title of the movie?
that's the title of the film. And so
I thought you were like switched to games.
Yeah. Now you've got Ron Perlman, although even though he's Jesus Christ, even though he's like the most highly listed for this, he's only like more of a moderate sort of person. It's really the story of this disgustingly entitled little bitch who's his daughter.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Sound like
she's-
Alec Baldwin.
She is the most awful person that
Those of you
I've
that
seen.
remember, you're going to laugh at that.
Yeah, that I've seen in a
Rude,
in a film in a long
disgusting
time.
little pig.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's just going around like drinking like a maniac throughout the entire movie. Like literally, she goes with her boyfriend of sorts to this place, which is it's almost like an underground bar, like restaurant of sorts, and I'm assuming the Los Angeles area. But she orders a pint of whiskey, so a pint of straight whiskey.
Jesus.
Drinks it down, then orders another one, and drinks all of that down. And the boyfriend is like,
Did the filmmaker think whiskey was a mixed drink of some kind?
and the boyfriend is like, you cannot drink fifths of,
She
pints of whiskey,
died.
pints
She
of whiskey
died.
like that. Well, she's obviously worked herself up to it, so to speak. But
Wait, is she fat?
No, she's a
Oh, she's just a big
she's
drinker.
a skinny little priss, and then she goes backstage and she's hanging out with these girls who have a like they're a bunch of robbers, and there's
Bunch of robbers.
yeah, but
Thieves.
okay, but they
Sorry.
they're no,
I'm
you're
not trying
fine,
to
you're
derail
fine.
you. I'm
No,
really-
you're fine, and it's the fact that
You're getting the bubbles.
yeah.
You're getting the bubbles.
Yeah,
It's
the
okay.
bubbles
We're
are
almost done. We're at number one.
I know I'm trying, but
You got
this
it.
is one that I wanted to really take a crap on because of the fact that
Stand up,
like our
turn
lead
around, take a shit.
our lead character is so terrible, and boyfriend and whatever. Perlman is fine when we actually get to see him, but he has a cheated wife, and there's a lot of stuff going on in this movie. The reason that it fell on my radar was because Bloody Disgusting did a live tweet along for this film with like a bunch of the actors and actresses and everything else, and I was like, okay, well, looks a little less horror, but I guess I have to go and try to give it a shot. And I spent then $7 on the VOD, and it was just such an insufferably aggravating, like, no likable people whatsoever. There's some robberies. There's some when you find out what Ron Perlman's character is actually doing, because you think initially he's just selling these like red like high stiletto sort of shoes, and yet he's also producing like this smut sort of content, which, God, it's more so personal opinion and anything else. But God damn it,
It's okay. It's okay.
no, it's fine. I'm just trying to get these last few words out.
Go for it. You're almost there.
God damn it, I hate this movie. It was the most aggravating and frustrating thing that I watched this past year.
Fair enough.
Okay, and I'm sure if you loved like really seedy, slimy schlock, and I loved Bad Girls. I enjoy.
Bad Girls was another one from the festival.
From the festival, yeah. I enjoy this sort of like degaff, like just go for it, be violent, be ridiculous. But it was the plotting, it was the acting, and the costuming of our lead. God damn, this girl is wearing like the most ridiculously gaudy, and I know that's because she's from this rich family, and the hats and the dresses, and like if you want to talk about running on heels, like in Jurassic World, like damn dude, when they run out on a bill at this fancy restaurant, like I don't know. There's times where a story just rubs you the wrong way in every possible capacity,
Seems
and
like it.
it's trying to be so stylistic, and this is a stylistic fucking film, well made. But I hated the story so much. So.
Okay. All right, well, that's going to lead to my number one, and I think you're probably going to be able to agree with me on this one after a fashion. This is Demonic. Demonic was
also in contention.
So bad, and we love the director.
Worst film of his career.
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. And the fact that Netflix now has a whole Oats Studios thing, where it has stuff that we didn't even watch on the channel yet. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of shorts under Oats Studios.
I thought we watched most of them, like
we watched the main ones, but there's more than what we watched on there. I looked at it, and I haven't watched it all. So this was, what is the director's name? I'm spacing it. I've been spacing it the entire freaking episode. Neil Blomkamp. Got it. So this is Neil Blomkamp's first movie in a while, right? Since it wasn't Chappie, was it?
Since Chappie.
Yeah, since Chappie.
His first feature since Chappie.
And this was shot amongst the pandemic, right? So a lot of people will give it that sort of excuse for being a bad movie, but it's about a woman who is like dealing with the fact that she's lost her mom, or she's trying to explore what happened to her mom, and it has to do with a sort of virtual reality representation of this world that she builds in her dreams or whatever. It was convoluted, it was stupid, it was not well represented because it was like Lawnmower Man graphics. Nowadays when we have the Marvel movies, yes, deliberately so, but it didn't work for me. So the story was boring, the effects were annoying, the writing was terrible. Demonic was just a big fucking fat waste of time for me this year.
I also hated later in the film where they brought in the whole almost like priest, like religious military sort of thing. And yeah, that didn't work for me either. I thought the performance from the lead was okay, but yeah, aside
the
from
movie's
that,
terrible. She's
the
stuck
movie's
in a
very
terrible
bad.
movie.
It is very much the worst thing that Blomkamp has done.
Yeah, and easily for me the worst thing of 2021. So.
Wow, going very bold.
It was really bad.
Yeah, because that was a limited theatrical before going on VOD.
Yeah, and it was bad both ways. So that's gonna do it for our worst horror movies of 2021. Why don't you guys let us know in the comments down below what your worst were? Do you want to rattle off any of your other ones? Because I'll rattle off mine real quick. I also had The Stairs. Was terrible. That was also one we saw at the Phoenix Film Festival. That's now available more
wide.
Was
attention. Well, The Strings also was horrible.
The Strings was also bad. Death Valley was recently released on Shudder, and that was just terrible.
That's one that
people
I
were talking about how it
with.
should have been like up there with Doom or the new Resident Evil, like as far as creature effects. And the creature was cool, but the movie was bad. I hated it.
It was one freaking creature, man.
The Last Matinee was also one that I really didn't like. That was a part of the Phoenix Film Festival that got a wider release.
Not a worst.
Didn't like it. It was really poor.
Yeah.
And then finally Lamb. I thought Lamb it wasn't necessarily all the way horror either, but it was such a big disappointment.
Yeah, the Deep Ones is the Cthulhu-esque one that I mentioned. It was just retardedly low budget, California, SoCal, Cthulhu worshipping idiots, so it was terrible. And then, I guess the only other one that I have on here, since I already mentioned Strings, is American Boogie Woman, Eileen Wuornos. Yeah, because
that was off of the Ted Bundy American Boogie Man.
Yeah, it was a dueling sort of thing. So the Ted Bundy one, American Boogie Man with Chad Michael Murray, pretty damn good actually. This one,
The Eileen Wuornos one.
the
not
Eileen
so
Wuornos
much.
one. I mean, go watch Monster. Leave it at that.
Yeah, that's
You
same
know, that's
character.
that's
Mhm.
what I would recommend
Character,
because
same
this one,
person.
yeah, same person, and they like it sees her when she's about to finally get killed. You know, death penalty and everything, but it flashes back to her younger life. Nowhere near as compelling. Really, just showing how she was a manipulative sort of bitch.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
yeah, biatch. Anyway.
All right, well, that's going to do it then for our top 6 and alternate worst of 2021. Why don't you guys let us know in the comments down below, what do you think of our choices? Do you hate us now? Will you never watch us again now that I put Halloween Kills on there?
Did you love Titan?
Did you love Titan? Yeah. Let us know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. Were there any bad movies that we didn't list that you think deserve to be on the list? So
Probably
let
some
us
of them.
know. Make sure you go back and watch the other best of and lists that we've put together. And coming up next time, we're going to be doing the best TV shows of 2021 before the end of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So keep your eye out for that. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button and ding that notification bell. Set it to all if you don't want to miss these episodes going forward. Until next time, though, I've been Cecil Laird.
And gracias, Jaime Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.